very snowy, very snowy Friday, March 3rd, evening stream. Let me see here. I think so far we got Mr. Lee. Well, if I could ever get the roller to work here. Yep, we got Mr. Lee and Mr. York in here to start with. Good evening, guys. Hope you're both doing well. As long as the whiskey holds. Wintry weather prevented me from traveling to get scotch, but I do have whiskey. There you go. As long as the whiskey holds, you'll be good. Got Drew. How you guys doing this evening? Good, I hope. We are cold. Temperature has dropped about 6 degrees. It started snowing here about 2 o'clock. We're getting roughly an inch, inch and a half an hour right now. We've got. I was just outside and done the deck and stuff. We have about 4.5, 5 inches out there right now. Hey, Christine, good to see you, dear. Hope you're doing well tonight. Well, don't feel like the lone stranger, man. I just had to turn on my coffee pot. I got nothing here to drink. I was really hoping before it got too awful bad I'd be able to get my hands on some Irish cream, and yeah, wasn't able to. I went in get coffee at 1:30 p.m. and but yeah, it's definitely coming down. I hope this is the last one for the year though. This one here's coming in like gangbusters. I mean, granted, it was supposed to start at 7 o'clock this morning, and because of how slow it was moving, it didn't get here till afternoon. And it's definitely making an impression. It's going from mid Michigan all the way down to central Indiana. It's supposed to hit us before it goes any higher. It's going to make a swing to the east, and then southeast, and then come right back up on the east coast again. So Rusty should get a little bit of it. Lee should get some of it. Um, Definitely Terry's going to get some of it. It's going to be bad. They were talking this morning. I seen a New Hampshire weather forecast earlier on YouTube, and they were talking about 6, 7, 8 inches of snow. So there'll be some very unhappy East Coasters before this thing's done. 1:30, it was clear. At 2 o'clock, there's an inch and a half of snow. That's how quick it's coming down. And I mean, blizzard-like conditions. I mean, to the point where you can't even see the house across the street. Now that it's dark out, you might be able to see their house lights, but yeah, you couldn't see squat earlier in it. But yeah, I wasn't even going to do a stream tonight. I decided earlier with our power flickering on and off that I probably wouldn't do a stream, and then I thought, well, as long as it's just flickering and don't stay off, may lose Wi-Fi half a dozen times and have to restart the stream, but by God, I'm still here. Hey, Jan, good to see you. Hope you hope you enjoyed your big prize from AAP earlier. You're gonna look downright cuter than peanut butter in those shorts, in them little AAP booty shorts. Oh my God, had to go through a tornado to get back. I bet he's a nervous, bloody wreck. I was shocked that I won them. They're gonna look real cute in those little booty shorts. We'll see if Jay thinks so. Absolutely, Tony. My priorities are right where they need to be. Thanks. I have hunted tornadoes hundreds of times. Found very few. Yeah, they're not like deer. You can't just scare up a tornado out of a big pile of brush. They kind of let you know they're coming. And yeah, they ain't shy about it. One of my friends down in Texas used to be into chasing, and I've chased a few of them with him. But it's kind of where I got my love for filming at is down there. But yeah, I don't think so. Not unless my car or my vehicle weighs about 20 tons. Then I'm not too awful concerned about getting back out there too awful quick and doing it. Jay said he took a picture of a house that was destroyed, numerous trees down preventing him from going on roadways. Wow. Hey, Freedom, good to see you. Yeah, I'm the same way, Tony. This stuff is wet. It's sticking to everything. I wore my hat, my duster out there earlier, had my sweater on underneath it, and the wind was so bitter coming out of the northwest that it was going right through that waterproof canvas duster. Um, Luckily, I had one of my big Scottish scarves on that pulled up around my ears and down tight, and had my hat pulled right down on top of it so it wasn't getting on my neck or anything. But the wind was going right through my coat, my sweater, everything. I mean, I didn't get wet, but I had snow caked to the brim of my hat and stuff because it's such a heavy snow. It's so heavy, we had about that much snow sitting on top of the wife's um, car. And I went out there with a broom and tried to clean off the windshield, and I couldn't pull it. So I put the broom down and pushed it, and the whole windshield cleaned off in one great big piece. Just straight up wet, packing snow. Have some friends without power in Virginia. The wife just got a call from her son. You know, the ones that have the new baby. They're about 40 minutes south of us down in Indiana. They have no power. And there's no way they can get their little tiny lowrider cars out of there. Nobody's even been out to plow any roads yet. With as fast as it's coming down, it's a waste of time. I went through and wiped off the wife's car. By the time I got around the car, the back window was already covered again. So yeah, they're not going out and doing anything. But we're concerned about them trying to get someplace with heat, especially with that new baby. Hey Drew, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, huh? The signal's terrible. I tried to pop in and say hi to El Chaffee on the doorstep. Got cut off. I'm raging. Took me 5 minutes to send this. Yeah, it's the weather here is terrible. I'm surprised I'm getting any kind of a signal in or out here. If you don't reply, we'll all understand why. Next reading is going to be 33 degrees Celsius today. I'm hanging out for winter. Well, right now, we are sitting at right now we are sitting at 29 degrees. And like I said, it is coming down ready to build a snowman out of. It is so wet. I just care to share. You know, you see me freedom. My 12,000 watt generator don't have an hour on the hour meter. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting evening. Definitely going to be an interesting evening. It's so bad out right now here. The visibility is so low. The wife called off work, and you guys know she don't call off work for hell or high water. Not well with the ladies present. I'm great, thank you. I hope we don't lose electricity too, because then we're all going to be pulling out the sleeping bags from under the bed, and we're going to be sleeping out in the kitchen tonight, because the stove is going to be our only source of heat. I mean, granted, our furnace is gas, but there's an electric switch on it, electric ignition. Electric ignition don't work, furnace don't know when to kick on and off. So, yeah, that's going to mean turning on the gas stove or gas oven and letting it heat the room. So there's going to be me, my wife, my daughter, and 4 very cold kittens sleeping out in the kitchen with us tonight. It's done now. Buffer since you came on. Bloody useless credit. Yeah, that's how I feel about it right now too. Bloody useless credit. Electric start with a remote. It ain't that cold. Been there, done that. Prayers, you don't need to. I'm hoping so too. I'm hoping so too. I slept here when it was minus 15 during powder outage. I don't leave home. I don't desert a sinking ship. This is one captain that will gladly go down with his boat. We didn't have internet for a long time today because of the winds. Tony's an old time reenactor like I am. If he don't have 24 wool blankets and sleeping bags and stuff piled up in a room somewhere, or at least in a storage closet at his house, I just wouldn't believe it. I've got probably 15 comforters around here during my reenactments and stuff, and I reenact sometimes in November and early December, so I have plenty of stuff to keep warm. Not to mention I own a lot of wool clothes, so you don't have any wool left. I find that hard to believe there, Mr. York. I didn't know reenactors ever got rid of their emergency stuff. I don't know, but people all over the Midwest are going nuts. I'm getting all kinds of alerts from YouTube people coming on, and I'm guessing talking about the storm. Mold got them. Yeah, go figure. I need all 15 comforters. I run low body temp. Jay had a heavy wool blanket he keeps in Big Red. Well, at least you guys won't need it tonight. Luckily this storm missed y'all. I've been getting alerts all day. Every time this storm has changed, whether it's changed its speed, whether it's changed the amount of snow we're going to get, whether the wind speeds have changed. And just think, my mother-in-law called earlier today, and since my wife had to work tonight and she got paid today, she wanted me to walk up to the bar and sit there with her and her friends and drink tonight and then walk back home. And no. No. We're not done with the winds yet. No, we're not. I, I've got Jan asking if she's crazy, and I got Tony asking if I'm nuts. No, the wind. I'm serious as hell. I would literally have frostbite right now. Right now, with our wind gusts, we are looking at somewhere in the -20 area with the wind gusting. Now, granted, I have a lot of warm pants. I got a lot of warm coats. I got a lot of warm things like that. But wool mittens, like nice lined wool mittens, is something I don't have. Well, I just heard the rumble of the neighbor's big diesel truck, which means he's going to go out and start plowing. Don't be such a pussy. For a piece to walk. And this is far. Yeah, well, yeah, it's 6, 7 blocks uptown one way, and -20 wind chills, snow coming down, stuff like that. Take a couple shots for the walk, should be fine. If I had something to shoot, then I'd do it. Hey buddy, happy Friday. You getting the snow? We're getting in Dexter. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're getting it. How you doing, Chad? Um, we've got, well, we probably got closer to 6 inches now. When I went out earlier, we had 5, and it's such a wet snow. I mean, people are trying to stop at the intersections out here. They're sliding right through the intersections. So, yeah, it's going to be bad come morning time. Then we're supposed to get lake effect snow on top of it. So, we may wind up 14, 15 inches of snow before it's all said and done. Do you guys know Britain's default setting? We never know. Carry an umbrella or a parasol. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Dodgers, good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Terry, glad you could make it in. It's going to last a few days, Jan. We're not supposed to be much above freezing for the next like 2 or 3 days. So, yeah, it's going to be around for a while. Um, Stay safe, hopefully warm. I'm currently sampling Southern Comfort. Oh, that'll warm your nether regions. I don't get out of work till midnight, so it's going to be a slow drive home to Tecumseh. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, it was so bad here. The wife called off. There's no way she could have made it. I mean, you're hitting where the big trucks have gone up and down the roads here. You're hitting blocks like the bottoms of snowmen, and that's all she needs to do is start busting up the front of that car. She's not even had a year yet, hitting 50-pound blocks of snow and stuff in the road. And like I said, none of our plows have even been out yet. So it's going to be rough tonight for people, that's for sure. Snow here will be gone tomorrow. It's supposed to be 50 tomorrow. Yeah, it's only not. We're not even supposed to hit 32 tomorrow. So, Xenia, Ellie, good to see you. Hope y'all are doing well out there in Pennsylvania. Be real careful too. This storm is supposed to head y'all's way when it's done here. That's going to make that door dashing thing pretty rough. Other than that, yeah, everything's good here. We're just trying to um, we're just trying to not get buried, not get covered in snow here. Been hitting for a while now in PA. I was wondering because I knew there was another storm in front of this one, but I didn't know exactly where it was at. Why are you saying y'all ain't even close to South? Because I was born in the South. And that's just something I've always said. I've always said y'all instead of you all. Jay just called. He's finally on his way home. I'll be relieved when he gets home. I bet you will. I bet you will. I think all of us that know Jay will be relieved when he gets home. Y'all sounds cool. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting for the next couple of days. I managed to get the porch cleaned off earlier, and I'll tell you what, just picking up shovels of this stuff and throwing it off the porch onto the ground beside it, it felt like I was trying to lift a freaking full lockbox. That's how heavy that stuff was. It's bad. I don't remember ever having a wet snow this heavy. I usually type better loaded. I ain't loaded, but still. Don't know. I just got fat finger issues. They're not fat fingers. They're just plump little fingers. They're not fat. That's not nice to say about your little phalanges. You have to look when I type. If I look up, which is why a lot of times you'll see me doing this. I mean, it's not like I have a keyboard to work on. I have a keyboard to work on. So there's no room to do this. So it's got to kind of like be. if I put my hands together like I'm supposed to type, then these four fingers are hanging off the sides of the keyboard. We need old typing teachers to wrap our knuckles if we look at the keys. See, we didn't have those, but we learned how to type on Brother electric typewriters. So for the first several weeks, those of us that were actually interested in what we done, we'd actually watch what we were typing. And of course, you had those kids that had typewriters and stuff at home. They never looked. They just Catholic there, Mr. Lee. Yeah, it does kind of sound like Grandma's, the nun at Grandma's Catholic school where she went to school at. Before she had the stroke, she told us all kinds of stories about how those nuns would just walk around and smack kids for nothing. Wow, that's posh. We had 1930 Imperial typewriters. Yeah, that's the way I was about it, Freedom. I did it because it was an easy A. All they wanted was 100 words a minute. I could do 100 words a minute, even with dyslexia. I could do 100 words a minute. I used to wrap a cord around my foot when they used to time our typing. I'd pull the cord on the Mean Girls. That sounds like fun. No, just the modern world didn't bother our teachers too much. I seen an interesting video yesterday. I don't know why it made me think of Tony Lee and Katie and my buddy Alan and Drew too and Chris, but I guess there's a thing going on in Scotland right now called the Island Trust. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring more people onto the Scottish Isles. And they're willing to pay you like £50,000 to move to some of these Scottish Isles and either purchase a piece of land that already has a house on it or purchase a piece of land and build a house on it or something. Yeah, but they're looking for people who can enrich the culture of the island. Like open a business or something like that. And it just completely up until we got to that point in the video the wife was watching, she thought, hey, that's a pretty cool idea. She goes, why did people leave the island anyway? I said, yeah, hurricanes, storms, the fact that the wind coming off the ocean onto some of these islands is like gale force winds. When you can blow a Highland coup right off a hillside and put it out in the middle of a loch somewhere, then the wind's pretty strong. Pass after a week course. I got a free period. I'm not going to talk about what I did to Mean Girls. Sorry, I'm cooking, so I'm listening. Island Trust, interesting acronym. It is, isn't it? Well, JJ, did you wait till you saw he was on his way before starting dinner? Sounds interesting, though. Oh, no problem. No problem. If I can, if I can find the video again, Tony, I will. I'll copy the name and I will comment the name of that video on one of your posts or a video or whatever. That way you guys can watch the video and get the whole story behind it. I should be able to find it again. I sent it to her. So, matter of fact, all right, let's see here. There. The video is actually called "These Scottish Islands Will Pay You £50,000 to Live There." That's the actual name of the video. "These Scottish Islands Will Pay You £50,000 to Live There." So there you go. Sounds interesting. Thank you. Good idea. Just found out my DNA, my mother's family. That goodbye girl. Hello. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. The Isle of Uist. I would love more info. The Isle of Uist. Let me write that. Let me write that down because I'm not familiar with Uist. U-I-S-T. U-I-S-T. Isle of Uist. I'll see what I can find about that. That's a completely new name to me. Wow, thanks for the info. What's that about, Drew? 50K ain't nearly enough for me to leave my guns. Yeah, but I mean, you figure 50K is about rough figure $65,000. I mean, if they're going to pay you basically a year's income to move to this location, then, I mean, that's... Made it through the snowstorm up here in Grand Rapids now. It's just east of you. Luckily, I think it's moving. It's when it gets up... I think when it gets up to around Kalamazoo or just north of Kalamazoo, it starts to make that northeast turn before it loops back down and hits like eastern Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and then starts working its way back up the East Coast. So, I don't know. I hope you stay nice and warm and safe up there, bud. Like I said, not nearly enough. Yeah, for the cost of your guns and stuff, I don't blame you. I could not live somewhere that would not allow me to have guns or make me go out and get special licenses and permits to have my guns, even just for reenacting. You know, I can't imagine if you go through the rigmarole to have a gun that was made in England. I mean, I sit and I think about all these Revolutionary War reenactors and these 7 Years' War reenactors that live in England and Scotland. and France I mean, you know, you're talking about a brown bass that was made in London, made by the Tower Company in London, and you have to have special permits and stuff to even own a gun that was made on their soil. So could you imagine people that own cannons and stuff, the stuff they got to go through to own the stuff things they own? So it rained when I left. Just started snowing. Jay's home. Yes. Cool. Well, I'm glad he made it home nice and safe. Yeah, I think muzzle loaders are a lot easier to have in the UK, but it's still a huge, humongous pain in the butt to go through all the hoops and stuff they want you to jump through to own them. But I want 44 Magnum. You just don't want to go anywhere without your showstopper. It is literally snowing so heavy out there right now. I can hear it hitting the driveway. So big flakes falling out there. Like I said, this is a very wet snow. I could have easily got up on the hood of the wife's car and built a snowman with fresh fallen snow. It is a wet, icky, slushy, slippery, blocky snow. There was some big, huge flakes falling. There's tons of guns on British streets, but I wouldn't know where to get one. They have amnesties sometimes, and the mountains on manner of weapons is amazing. Hmm. I just think it's really funny, and it's one thing, you know, that my buddy Alan told me about being over in England is, you know, 75% of your bobbies don't carry guns, but here they are sometimes going up against criminals that have all got guns. So if the police force won't even issue weapons to their own officers, how do they expect them to do their job when any criminal can go out and buy an illegal gun? But a law officer cannot get issued a service weapon to do their job. I just think I'll never understand it. Good evening. Hey Jay, I'm glad you made it home, bud. I heard about your day. Sounds pretty damn harrowing, man. Sounds pretty harrowing. That's kind of the whole lie about gun control. Guns will always be out there. Oh yeah. Oh, I agree. Guns will always be out there. Sadly enough, guns will always be out there, and guns will always be very, very easy for criminals to attain. You know, Tony Lee, I would expect no less out of you than that right there. We had an armed response team across the path from us a few years ago. It was ridiculous. I played the police at them out of the window. Did you play Every Breath You Take? When they wrestled the assailant to the ground, did you play "Oh, can't you see you belong to me? How my poor heart aches with every breath you take." According to Illinois politicians, Indiana supplies the world. Psst. Okay. That's why people don't stand so close to me. Oh my God, that's even better. Hey, Dobby Sock. Good to see you, dear. Hope you're doing well tonight. Oh, goodness gracious sakes, everybody. I thought winter was finally over with. I was outside just a couple of days ago. It was 60 degrees out there. It was sunny. It was warm. I had on nothing but a light shirt and a light vest and a pair of jeans. I didn't even have a hat on. It was it was damn right pretty out there. And now here we are with 6 inches of snow on the ground, and before the night's over, wind chills back in the single digits. Oh yeah, Dobby. Oh yeah. Staying warm and toasty right here in the house. We're doing good. Yep, winter's still here till the 20th. Go figure. Go figure. All I know is it better be nice on St. Patrick's Day. South Bend, Indiana does this huge parade. They have this great big festival in the park right uptown. They've got this old short run river that feeds off of the St. Joe River, but it goes through multiple little viaducts to um, to boost the current. And then they have this thing called the Run every year. It's a big kayak race, and this thing goes all the way out, winds through town, and ends about a 3/4 mile or a mile down in a great big pond where there's a dam that goes back into the river. And down there at the very beginning of the race every year, they dye the whole thing green. They dump all this algae dye in there, and um, it dyes the whole race a bright emerald green. There's parades and all kinds of stuff. Of course, I always kilt it up, put on my nice kilt stockings, and go out there and enjoy the parade and everything. Haven't got to do it the last few years because of the wife's work schedule, but now she works nights. Oh, let me see here. I understand that cold's out to April 20th. I'll be cooking some corned beef and cabbage for Patty's Day. I might be doing cabbage rolls for Patty's Day because the wife isn't real big on corned beef, but she loves cabbage rolls. So I think I'm going to do some cabbage rolls. I best be off now, Drew. Everyone see y'all very soon. All right, Tony Lee, you go get yourself some rest, but I know it's what almost 1 o'clock in the morning there. So go on, you and Katie have yourself a good evening, get some rest, and we'll catch you on Monday. Um, like cabbage, at least cooked. Oh God, we do. We eat the heck out of some cabbage around here, either in coleslaw form or cooked in stew. Well, good. When you guys come up in August, Jan, the night that the night that Jay decides he wants to cook those steaks, I'll make up I'll make up a big old bowl of Mama's coleslaw. Haven't met anyone who doesn't eat mine, including my husband, who hated it before. I cooked the cabbage on the first at my daughter's request. He cooks cabbage at his daughter's request, and then while they're all sitting down eating cabbage, he goes to McDonald's and gets a couple Big Macs and a big chocolate shake and sits there until the smell of the cabbage gets out of the house. Well, at least if I didn't like cabbage, that's what I'd do. Oh, you eat the cabbage? Wow. I'm great, working from home, so bummed the live is on mute. Just a New Year's Day tradition. And it's amazing how those little traditions kind of pop up in families and they stick around. Hmm. Now, see, I like corned beef, but the wife don't like corned beef. So, yeah, I only eat it when we go out that serves corned beef. Well, it ain't been broke doing it, so, well, I ain't been broke doing it, so, yeah. I cook it all together with potatoes, some vinegar, among other things. I never put vinegar in mine. I cook it with potatoes, carrots, onions, usually just a big chunk of beef, um, and then I just lightly, I'll pull the cabbage leaves off the head, and I'll usually just cut them once or twice, maybe once this way, and throw them in and let them soften up. Mm, potatoes and carrots. I got a brisket in the freezer at this moment. I need to figure out what I want to do with my dad's recipe from Great Depression era. It's the way my grandma was when she would cook cabbage like that. she said a lot of times they didn't have meat, so she would grab whatever veggies she could and just throw them in the pot with some cabbage. I don't think it was until my grandfather hit his 60s he started saying, you know, are we too damn poor to get a piece of meat to stick in that? I said, I ain't no damn rabbit. Hey, Mystical. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well tonight. Yeah, I wasn't going to go on because the Wi-Fi and the electricity was blinking on and off earlier. And I thought, you know, instead of having to restart the stream a dozen and a half times, but it's kind of slowed up a little bit, blinking in the last, hour and a half. So I decided, fish on it. I'd go on and do a stream. If we got bucked, we got bucked. Sounds like my hubby. Those work well in slow cook too. Wow. You were correct about the tornadoes. Lee said a lot of trucks blew over, but he was lucky. He was able to find a truck stop, get pulled in, and in on time. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm usually right about the storms and stuff like that. Um, I had an ex that dabbled in certain arts, and she accused me on multiple times of having a connection with the weather, because I was very rarely ever wrong about the weather. When I said it's going to do something, it normally does it. I might do it in one of those quartz malls I got. There you go. Yeah, I'm on the phone. I'm on my phone. I've got both computers turned off. Yep, it's just snowing like crazy here now. Just, I mean, I would say we've got over 6 inches of snow right now. It's coming down in great big wet flakes. I was telling everybody earlier, I went out to clean off the wife's car earlier, and I couldn't pull the snow off with the broom. So I just got up on the driver's side and pushed it, and the whole windshield cleaned off in one great big sheet of wet snow. So, yeah, our wind's blowing here too. It's supposed to drop down in the 20s tonight, which is going to put our wind chill somewhere down in the negative teens. So, needless to say, the kitties are in the house. At least the two homeless kitties that we kind of sort of almost but not quite adopted are in here now, lounging around the living room, running around, doing their little kitty thing. So, and adopted Daddy Ralph is taking care of them. The wind is blowing terrible here in East Tennessee. It's rough here. Was really kind of funny earlier when I came back inside. One of the little ones ran outside and only got like 5 feet from the door. She started lifting her feet up and shaking her feet, and she turned around and ran right back in the door. Goodbye, girl. I am in southwestern Michigan. Um, about 20 minutes north of the Indiana line. East Tennessee is really getting hit too. Been getting notifications from home all day. I figured they would. Believe it or not, goodbye, we have had more snow than this time of the year. Um, hell, it was just 9 years ago, I think. This time of the year, we had over 6 feet of snow on the ground. I mean, it snowed hard for like 4 straight days, and the snow was over the top of people's mailboxes. You had the plow trucks would get within just a couple feet of your mailbox. You had to go out and um, shovel or blow out up to your mailbox if you wanted to get your mail, because the mail carrier was not going to get out of her truck. So it has stopped precipitating. Yep, yep. No precipitation anymore. It is no longer precipitating in at Tony's place. Notice I never typo the word. Isn't it amazing how that works? You have a hard time typing out everything else, but when it comes to profanity, you never have a problem with it. See, I don't mind snow. I have a real bad time with the harsh wind, especially since I've got older. It gets into my knees, gets into my back, starts getting into the arthritis in my hands. That's when I have a problem with it. But the snow itself, psst, I have cavalry boots and everything else I can wear it. Go clear up to my knees. If the snow gets over the top of those boots, you just need to stay inside and lump it. I mean, there ain't nothing else you can do. I might use that word more than all the others. You might. Hey, Lady C. Hope you're doing good tonight. I see you lurking, Dev. You're not very good at it. I see you peeking out from around that corner. How you doing tonight, Dev? Staying warm and dry, I hope. Oh, that's it. I only saw you 'cause you let me see you. I got you. All right, that's cool. Oh, goodness. I hate driving over the mountains, snow. I've gotten sideways before, come down sideways for holding my breath the whole time, especially with no shoulder and really no railing. I've seen a few mountain passes like that where the passenger can actually look out the window and see like 3, 4, 500 feet down the side of the mountain. I've seen a few of those. Old Yellow Top taught me well. I love to drive in the snow. I used to too. Used to love to take the Firebird out to the parking lot at the church and do donuts and slide all over the place. Well, three of my vehicles are four-wheel drive. A tow company that has a YouTube channel. I might know which one you're talking about. There's a couple trucking / tow companies that have YouTube channels that I have a tendency of watching on occasion. Your Cadillac's four-wheel drive? I figured it might be an all-wheel drive. I didn't even think about it being a four-wheel drive. Yeah, Not Everything Autos. That's not the one I watch. One of ours is the same platform. Love driving my SRX in the snow. I've gone across bridge backwards, oncoming lane, but was lucky no one else was stupid enough to be out. SRX4 kicks butt in the snow. I love the Suburbans. Auto 4x4. Auto 4x4 would have been so nice. The last 4x4 I had was a 78 Bronco, where I had to shift it into four-wheel drive, then get out and lock in the front hubs. It decides if it wants 4x4. Little Dodge, not so much. Little Dodges are good trucks, but you know, they can be moody on occasion. Yeah, get out and lock those hubs. Yeah. Had to on more than one occasion. Jay had a Toyota truck. Had to do that too. My dad's big Ford was the same way, his big F-250. You had to shift it into four low and then shift the main shift up into neutral or park and then go out front, and you had to lock the hubs in and then go in there and shift it down to drive and do what you were going to do. He hated it, especially out where we grew up at in the country, where we had no fencing or anything. All we had was miles of open cornfield or bean field. So sometimes he had, well, let's put it this way. I seen the roads so drifted shut at times. My dad would stop down the road and lock in the hubs and take off driving through the fields. Drive right up across my mom's yard and right up to his garage. Then he'd get out and he'd plug he had an extension cord that come out between the doors. He'd plug the truck in so the block stayed nice and warm all night long. Never had a problem with that truck not starting. Pretty fucking slick. Well, that Auto 4 was the biggest pain in the ass. I ain't locked in hubs in 20 years. It's been 18 years since I had my Bronco. So that's how long it's been since I've locked in a hub. My dad drove right through the drifts on a lot of the side roads. He tried to. A lot of times he'd hit them until he couldn't push through anymore. Then he'd just start going over them. Some of these, I mean, where I grew up at, some of those drifts, my God, were 300-400 feet long, 8 or 10 feet high. And, you know, here's my old man in a 1978 F-250. All he had was Ford F-150 on big tires. That's the way the old man's was. His rocker panels underneath his doors came up to my hips. So he had to grab the steering wheel to get in and out of the thing. My mom had to grab she would sit down on the rocker panel and grab the inside of the door and slide off on the ground. She's shorter than I am, so my last one was a 77 F-150. It was okay in the snow, but nowhere near as good as a Suburban. It would have been vastly better in mud, though. Oh yeah, I seen the old man on more than one occasion go up and lock his hubs in. He'd pull the chain out of the trunk in the back of the truck, hook it onto somebody's car that had slid off the road when it flooded, and pulled them out of a muddy field and stuff with that big old truck. Nothing wrecks a day like having 6,500 pounds of stuck in the mud Chevy. Yep. This coffee tastes good. But for road use, the GM is great. I've never been a car racist. I've never been a car racist. I have seen great Fords. I have seen crappy Fords. I have seen great Dodges. I have seen crappy Dodges. I've seen great Chevys, great Oldsmobiles. I have seen crappy on both. So I'm not a car racist. Whatever, whatever is out there and will do the job and makes a person happy, so be it. Yeah, it's not about the brand in most cases. I've always had no problem with a GM, no matter the weather. But that mid-90s era GM truck is difficult to beat. Yep. Well, 13 years ago, the old man finally got rid of his 78 and 90 Chevy Z71, which completely blew my mom away. I mean, 50 years of working for Ford and always telling us kids if we bought anything but a Ford, we could take it someplace else to get it worked on. And, he got rid of that old 78 F-250 and bought a Z71 Chevy pickup and loves it. So I guess living in the mountains taught him a thing or two about 78 Ford F-250s, the power of the 460 family engine, and the fuel consumption of said truck. They do 300,000 miles with little problem. Hey, Ian, good to see you, bud. A tranny at 225,000, sort of common if they trailer. Well, we have snow too, bud. Don't feel like the lone stranger. We got it too, and it's still coming down. It's supposed to come down all night tonight. stop before midnight sometime and then switch over to lake effect. So we'll see what happens. Boom shakalaka laka boom shakalaka laka boom. Past the quarter point of the bottle. Yeah. Well, if I could, Tony, I would be drinking with you right now. I was not able to acquire any Irish cream for my Irish coffee, so we'll just we'll just pretend there's Irish cream in it. In 2 hours, they say it'll be like a blizzard outside. Have a hard time believing that. Believe it or not, Dev, we had blizzard-like conditions earlier here. I mean, before the sun went down, it was snowing and blowing so heavy we couldn't see our neighbors across the street. It wasn't until the sun went down and you could actually see their house lights, which our neighbor right across the street's got one on each side of her front door and she's got one on each side of her garage door. And that's all you could see was the glow of those lights coming through the wind and the snow and stuff. I was on AAP's live stream earlier, and Becca went up and looked outside, and she said it was blizzard-like conditions. And a little bit later, Luke went up and looked out, and he said the same thing. You couldn't see shit and shinola out there. Well, Christine, you can come here anytime you want. We got a fold-out sofa here. So anytime during the winter you want to get away from your tropical, your little piece of tropical heaven down there by the equator, and get away from your wombats, your didgeridoos, and your kangaroos, and come up here and build a snowman with my daughter, you are more than welcome to. We got 2 inches of snow in about 40 minutes here. It was coming down, like I said earlier, about an inch and a half, about an inch and a half an hour. Luke and Becca said earlier it was coming down almost 2 inches an hour in Lansing, Michigan. They were going to order food in. I don't think that'll happen. Uh-uh. I don't either. 2 flakes is a blizzard. I'm fucking sick of winter. 1 centimeter with heavy wind. They call blizzards here. Oh, I know. I know. I mean, a blizzard to me is when it is snowing and blowing so heavy you can't see past the hood of your car. And when you're out walking in the stuff, if it hits your bare skin, your hand, your face, whatever, and it stings to the point where you think it's going to leave a welt, that's getting real close to blizzard conditions for me. But it has to do it for a long period of time, like it did, like you just said there in 77, 78. Um, and then you see the end result. That's a blizzard. True blizzards from the 70s, where you can't see a foot in front of you and walked in it. Yep. You can come here. Then Tony, we're between 31 and 40 degrees Celsius most days. I lived through the winters of 77 and 78. We did too. I may have only been 10 years old. You were what? 17, 18 years old, 16 years old, something like that. I mean, I know you're not that much older than me. You're only like what, 6 years, 7 years older than I am. So yeah, you were 16, 17, 18 years old when 78 hit. So yeah, we lived through it. I've been through blizzard and hope I never have to through it again. I will have that any day. Generally, blizzard conditions here come after the snow stops. My mom lived 4 or 5 hours north. They used to get snowed in. Snow was 5 feet above the roof. Yeah. Everyone, please remember to hit the like. Thank you very much, Mystical, for bringing that up. I appreciate that. So, Mystical, is your husband um, comfy and warm in his truck, sitting at a rest stop somewhere, waiting out the storms now, or is he back on the road now? I haven't heard anything about what the weather conditions are, south of here or anything right now. Only the storms earlier today. So is he still on his downtime, or is he back on the road now, trying to get a little bit further on his route or on his job? Oh yeah, as you guys can see, the gas station finally got my cigars back in. I was uh, I was forced to smoke these for 2 days because they ran out of my cigars. Now they got my cigars back. Yay. I was able to get 5 packs. So get me through tomorrow at least. Yes, his heater's going. No, he's down for now. Too many wrecks to clear up. Yep. Should be way better for driving. Yeah, if he's down for the night and resting, um, where you guys are at. Hopefully by tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock or so, he gets himself some breakfast in his belly. Finds a truck stop, gets himself a good breakfast in his belly. He should be back on track in no time. Car accidents be bad during snowstorms, wouldn't they? Yeah, it all depends, Christine. It depends on where you're at and how intelligent the people are where you're at. Um, the brand I smoke, they're called Supreme Blend. They're made in Dallas, Texas. And as you can see, they're considered a cheap cigar, but to me they're one of the best on the market. These other ones that I was smoking, which are also a menthol, um, they start to tear my throat up and make my chest hurt after a little bit. But these right here don't. So I mean, they come 15 to a box, 15 packs to a box. So for $23, something like that, $24, $25. Just depends on who's running the cash register. The early or unexpected stuff would be worse. First snows are usually pretty bad because many people are morons. He'll leave back out at 2 a.m. Back years and years ago, before Steph and I met, I dated a girl that lived in the very northern part of Indiana back when I had my Bronco. And I used to leave Indianapolis and make the 2.5 hour drive up to see her every other weekend. And on the way back, I'd leave on Sunday night. And usually by the time I got back to Rochester, Indiana, which is an hour and a half south of here, I was usually ready to stop. So, just outside of Rochester, Indiana, we have a truck stop called Michiana Truck Stop. And I used to take that big jacked up Bronco of mine and I would back it right in amongst the semis. And, well, I'd fill the tank up. Then I'd back it in there and I'd just let it, especially in the wintertime. And I would just sit in there all evening long and let it idle, had the doors locked, had my CB turned on. And I'd sit there and I'd chatter back and forth with the truckers about what the weather was like and, things like that. And when I fell asleep, those guys were the best. They'd watch me, they'd watch my truck, they'd watch for people out walking around the trucks. And, which I'm pretty well taken care of, if you know what I mean. Even if they didn't see anybody around there, somebody got in my truck, it'd be as bad as them breaking in this house. They may enter in one piece, but they're not going to leave in one piece. Had a... Oh. We'll throw this old Scottish joke out there. I have no problem flipping my dirk out and showing somebody. In a sense, you may call me a dirkhead. What was I going to say? Oh, the driving in the snow thing. That's what it was. Yeah, when it first snows here, people like to think they can handle the situation, which is always a bad idea. We have a highway that goes in between here and our next big city north of here, 94. And every winter, at least once during the winter, you have a 15 or a 20 car pileup. Because you have a bunch of people who leave their home and think, psst, this is nothing. I live in Michigan. I'm used to this. And they try going 85 mile an hour down the highway. And then next thing you know, they try to slam on their brakes when somebody in front of them slams on their brakes and they're eating the ass of a semi. Or they're hitting the center concrete divider and bouncing off the side of a semi. And then you have somebody back there behind them that smashes on their brakes instead of, tapping them, checking the road conditions out. And then they turn sideways in the road and slam sideways into the back of the semi. And then you get a bunch of cars and a chain reaction. That's normally how our winters go here. If you would drive a Chevy, it would be an hour and 40 minutes. People think they can drive anytime it snows like it's summer. Yes. My last road trip, I drove 2 hours from St. Louis to here, and when I stopped at the exit for home, it had snowed 6 inches or more, and I had no idea it had snowed. That was kind of scary. Sad to say, but it's true. Most of the drivers on roads by me have never seen snow before. Yep. And, that's the funny thing about, where my mom and dad live at. See, I've told you guys, my dad retired, no big deal. Mom, on the other hand, couldn't retire. I mean, officially. She retired, she gets her disability or her retirement, but she has worked at hospitals and she has worked at the schools and janitorial and stuff like that. And she used to call me all the time and say, "Oh my God, it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon and they have done already sent the kids home." Why? Because the temperature's supposed to drop about 4 o'clock, and they said there's a possibility of snow, and they didn't want the buses out driving in it. They have literally sent the kids home. They've literally got them to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. The bell rang, they sat in class, and then before that first period is over, got on the loudspeaker, said they were sending everybody back home again because there was snow in the forecast, and skipped 2 days of school because there was supposed to be snow and it never snowed a flake. I don't do any more road trips for work. I can do it for the cabin. But I fully plan it out. When I used to have a CB in my car, I'd hear people yakking on it saying that they're from Michigan and why are these people driving so slow? Cincinnati isn't the city of 7 hills for nothing. Oh yeah, we did a number of road trips when searching for land. Yep. And see, I'm normally a nervous passenger. And I'll be honest, Steph is probably the youngest person. She's 41 years old. But she is the youngest person that I have ever sat in a passenger seat and been relaxed around. Normally a person's got to be, 8 or 10 years older than me or more before I thoroughly trust their driving skills. But because she has never been out of Michigan, except into northern Indiana and right back here again, that I can actually relax. I've dozed off in the passenger seat with her. Normally, I've got the seat belt wrapped around my hand, this hand, and I'm holding on to the oh shit handle up above the window, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I have no give in that seat belt. Just in case it don't lock, I'm not going to fling forward and meet that airbag head on. I'm going to be sitting right back here like this. Driving faster on snow ain't a problem if everybody plays along. Exactly. But you've got your people that are driving 60, 65 mile an hour. You got your people that are driving 30 or 35 mile an hour. And, well, yeah, she is an awesome driver. She's a very awesome driver. The only accident that girl has ever been in before was the deal with the raccoon. And that was the only accident she's ever been in all her years of driving. The raccoon incident was the only accident she was ever in, and it wasn't even technically an accident because the only damage it did to the car was baking that raccoon's ass to the muffler. Of course, his ass was baked to the muffler and his belly was dragging on the road underneath, so for like 7 straight miles, all she heard was as his fur was being ripped off his belly and his ass was on fire. But she didn't damage the car. They had to use a snow shovel to get the raccoon off the bottom of the muffler by the time she got stopped at her friend's house. But didn't damage the car. Even the time that she seen a squirrel get hit by the car in front of her, and her son was only like 10 years old, his best friend was in the back seat. She's like, oh my God, we got to take it to the vet. She stopped, picked that poor little squirrel up. He was bleeding and just looked so miserable. His eyes were barely open. She's wrapping him up in a flannel shirt, and she takes him in. She's holding him like a baby, and she lays him in the passenger seat in the front of her Dodge Neon. And she takes off driving down the road with this poor little squirrel, and she's driving, and she's gently stroking the top of his little head. And he's just laying there, got one little leg stuck out of the flannel shirt, and he's got little bloods trickling out of the corner of his mouth. And she keeps telling her son's like, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be okay? She says, I don't know, honey. He looks pretty bad. And about that time, that squirrel come up out of that flannel shirt and started running up on the dashboard, jumped on her lap, ran up her chest, jumped off her shoulder into her son's lap, ran across the package shelf in the back window. She turned that car sideways in the road. All three of them jumped out. That little squirrel's just running around the inside of that car. About that time, he jumps out and runs into the woods, and she's like, yeah, I guess he's okay. She said not only was there blood on her passenger seat, but there was poop in her driver's seat, because it came right up the waistband out of her pants when that squirrel ran up her chest and jumped off her shoulder into the back seat. Keeping up with traffic flow, mainly maintaining safe distances between cars, etc., etc. Yep. I've been in an accident with a car since 12/24/77. Deer notwithstanding. Well, you know how those deer are. They decide what they want to do with your car. Yeah, I could take it to him to Skillet. We don't. She still to this day doesn't know if that little guy was actually hurt, or if he was just in shock and didn't know what to do until he actually came to and went bat poop crazy in the front seat of her car. Oh, my goodness gracious sakes. It is already 8:30 here. But I agree with Tony. I would have brought him home, put him in the skillet. But his high wasn't worth anything because it was all tore up when that car hit him. And honestly, we don't know if the car itself hit him, or if he got under the car and hit part of the framework or what, and it just knocked him loopy, which is what's so funny about it. But when she tells that story, she talks about that poor little squirrel just running laps around the interior of that Dodge Neon. On her son's lap, on his buddy's lap, back up in the passenger seat, on the dashboard, back on her lap, up on her shoulder, getting into her hair. She's doing this. He's jumping back in her son's lap. Here's this crazy little cracked up squirrel just going nuts. Hey, Jim. Good to see you. Yeah, ask her about it, Jan. I'll remind you when you get here. Ask her to tell you about the squirrel incident with her son. You'll see, when she tells the story, it is freaking hilarious. You have to hold on to your bladder to keep from wetting yourself when she tells that story. I mean, you know how animated my wife can be. So when she starts talking about that squirrel, it's like... And she hates it when I bring up the raccoon thing. She said for a year after that incident, she had nightmares about hearing that poor little raccoon screaming as its back was melting to her muffler and its belly was rubbing the road. Of course, I wasn't there, so I don't know if was the sound he was actually making, but I could imagine that a 25-pound raccoon cooking to your muffler as it's being drugged down the road probably makes a sound something like that. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of terrible kind of no. I don't know. I don't speak raccoon. I have no clue. I think even I would have been traumatized. How you doing, Jim? You ornery cuss? Hope you're doing well. Hopefully you guys aren't getting none of this inclement weather out there in Virginia. I think it's supposed to be moving north of you anyway. I think it's supposed to hit Pennsylvania and go up into Maryland and then start moving up the East Coast. SOS. Yeah. Rain all day. Good, good. So you're getting the southern branch of this storm, and um, we're getting that extreme crappy northern stuff. The piles and piles of wet, crappy, inhibitive, frozen rain. Can you hear this? It's like I got Beyonce and Britney Spears out here in the living room attempting to sing the same song. My missus is hinting that I should go to bed before I get too imbibed to function normally. Really? Well, you may not want to disappoint her. You may want to become a little less imbibed and a little bit more embedded. I won't be long to crash. I'm nowhere near there. Well, just hang in there, Tony. We only got about 20 minutes left. You're not usually around for the whole stream of an evening. I don't even have a good buzz yet. Cam, good evening. Hope you're doing well tonight. Big Ben, how you doing, bud? Long time no see. I am doing abso-frickin-lutely wonderful, man. Hope you are too. Kicking back here in southwest Michigan, hoping and praying this is the last winter storm we get this year. for her weekend. JJ, she expects services. I'm doing great. Thanks, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you too, bud. Good to see you too. Well, I said I'm hoping this is the last winter storm of the season. We have that Living History trade show coming up here in a few weeks. It was not that long ago that we had snow on the ground at the fairgrounds where the show's at in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where they had just plowed the parking lot that morning to get the cars in for the trade show. So, yeah, we've had snow here the second into the third week of April before. So, I mean, you just never know. I love to be down there at the train tracks right now, filming that train because they fly through here about 75 or 80 mile an hour. That's the first train we've had come through since the snow started. So, just kind of for a second visualize 8 inches of fresh, unbroken snow and 200 cars come flying 5 mile an hour. Could you imagine the cloud of snow that's flying off that train right now? Thunder while it snows. I've seen that before. I've seen that before. Saturday for me in Adelaide, South Australia. Beautiful sunny day so far. Nice. Nice. We had another Australian in here. Just I don't know if Christine is still here or not. She's down there in Australia as well. Trying to get her to come for a visit so she can go out and play in the snow with my daughter. My daughter likes to build snowmen. Christine's never played in the snow before. It'd be fun for her. Thunder snow. I still remember Jim Cantor making a big deal out of that on TWC. I saw two flakes a month ago. It was 8 degrees one night, then spring hit. All my peach trees are in full bloom. I know it'll freeze and ruin all. Yeah, probably. Probably. I have a few Aussie friends on here. I love my Aussie friends. She just sent me a package here about a week or so ago. Had my very first Vegemite in it, and some forget-me-not seeds and stuff. And I actually like Vegemite. I think it's good. But I'm all about trying international foods and stuff that you can't buy here. I know we only got a few minutes left, guys, but I need to make a run for the outhouse real quick. Well, the in-house. I ain't going outside for shit. Um, I'll be right back. Talk real nice amongst yourselves, and I'll be back here in just a second. Hey, Kyle. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are good out there in New York for you. I'll be right back, guys. I don't know, but just so you both know, everybody enjoyed that Beyonce Britney Spears concert a few minutes ago. Voices of Angels. Very well put. Oh, Voices of Angels. Those are words that are going to haunt me all night long. Ugh. MSC, yeah, Vegemite is awesome. Love it, mate. Gotta have butter with. I opened the bottle up, ran my finger around it, slopped it on my tongue. Thought, hmm, that's got some flavor to it. Kind of unique. And my wife did the same thing, and I thought she was going to have a stroke. She's all like, what the hell is that? Vegemite, you know, give me a sandwich. And he said, did you come from the land down under? She goes, oh. But I hear it's good in casserole, so I'm going to try it one of these days. I'm just going to see. What year is Big Red JJ and what engine? 2017 V8, don't remember. When we're cruising, it'll go down to 4-cylinder. Oh, that's too new. Salty yeast, but it's fantastic. Yeah, somebody yesterday, no, Wednesday had mentioned another mite, Minamite or something like that. I think it's from England, yeast based. I don't know. I like trying that stuff. You know, I love to get packages from other countries. You know, I'm real big on trying Marmite. It was Marmite. Thank you, Marmite. But I'm real big on trying the snacks and the sweets, cookies, candy, chips, things like that from other countries, because I'm all about that whole international trying new thing. I love it. They may call America the greatest country in the world, but that does not mean we have all the best food in the world. It's like fried fish and French fries are great here, but I want to go somewhere where they actually serve real fish and chips and try that. Not fried fish and French fries. I want fish and chips, damn it. I own I only own old, worn out stuff, wife included. I have two 1999 Suburbans. Prior to those, I had a 92 Chevy extended cab short bed stepside. 5.7 Vortec or something else. Wouldn't trade my 1990 truck for nothing. But you can have the old lady. I recently found a new candy I like. That's the Mike and Ike jelly beans. I've never seen Mike and Ike jelly beans. Usually the Mike and Ike they have here is the long kind of tube cylinder type candy. I guess it's kind of like a jelly bean on the inside, but it's got the real hard outside to it. But that's the only Mike and Ike's there. It comes in like a pink box with, I think, black dots on it or something like that. I have tried to wear the old lady out, but she has been very durable. That 5.7 Vortec is something else. Hard to wear a woman out. They can heal up. You got to work on the vehicle. Notice he skips my comment. I don't know. I read your comments. Yeah, I don't really get any bigger. So they're real nice. Never had Australian seen and had them for I never had in Australia seen and had them the first time. Hmm. Very cool. Yeah, I've never seen a jelly bean. I love jelly beans. That's something that um there's something about the jelly candy, especially when you're diabetic. Gummy bears, gummy worms, cinnamon bears, things like that. Jelly beans. For some reason, the sugar content isn't as high in those, and they're actually listed in my diabetic manual as one of the candies that I can enjoy. Now, I'm like any other diabetic. I don't follow my list to a T, but when I'm eating off my list, I eat very sparingly, only have little bits of it. We were just talking the other day about peanut butter M&Ms. You've got regular M&Ms, it's got chocolate in them. You've got peanut M&Ms, a peanut inside them with chocolate. And then you've got peanut butter M&Ms, which is just the candy shell full of peanut butter. And I love peanut butter M&Ms. It's my favorite candy in the world. And I can only eat like a palm full of them, maybe 10 or 12 pieces, and I'm done for the night. But yeah, trying new things, um, different jelly candies or gummy candies and stuff like that, I'm all for. Forget the name, but there's a monthly candy surprise box each month from a different country. Get about 20 items in it. Wow, I've never heard of that before. That'd be cool. Send me that damn manual. Mine don't have any candy. We'll see Reese cups. And here's something else. Anything with peanut butter in it is actually decent for a diabetic because the candy, like chocolate, will bring up your blood sugar, but peanut butter will dilute your blood sugar. So it kind of, as long as you eat it as long as you eat Reese cups sparingly, like maybe only 2 or 3 cups at a time, it does not raise or lower your blood sugar. It's another little trick my dietitian taught me. Peanut butter will actually dissipate your blood sugar, where the chocolate will raise your blood sugar, so it levels it out. Um, they have a new trans M&M throwing Skittles. I seen those the other day. I seen those the other day. Um, M&Ms and Skittles in the package together. Wife wanted cupcakes today. $8 for 6. I got a box of cake mix for $4 instead. Wow. Made organic vanilla frosting. Most candy bars don't use real peanut butter. It uses synthetic. Yep, you got to be very, very careful about what kind of peanut butter you do get. Sadly enough, I can't afford like real, um, honest to goodness peanut butter at $8 or $9 a jar. So I'm stuck just shelf shopping, looking at the jar, which one has the lowest carbohydrate level, which one's got the lowest sugar, and going with that one. We got 22 cupcakes. Smart way to go. $8 for 6 is sure to hell beating 22 for 4. I don't bake a lot. Can't control myself with some cakes or any pies. That's how I am with like peach pie, apple pie, pumpkin pie, cakes. I can give or take when it comes to cakes. It just depends on my mood. But a nice hot piece of peach pie with ice cream on top of it, or a big old chunk of apple pie with a scoop or two of ice cream on top of it. Dude, that's a weakness. That's an addiction. Gonna get pups out. Head to Sleepy Land. Night. Yeah, you need sleep, bud. I heard you went through some hell today. You really honestly, yeah, good idea. Good idea. Get some rest. I'm sure your the hair on the back of your neck is probably still pricking up right now from after what you went through today. So take care of the pups, get some rest, and we'll talk to you later, bud. I only craft peanut butter. I don't have it every day. Give me a meat pie or chunky steak pie any day. I've not had a meat pie in probably 3 years, 4 years. The last Celtic festival I went to, Fiddler's Hearth out of South Bend, which is a Celtic pub. Um, they have dishes from England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, multiple countries over there. And beers are the same way. They have American beer, but they also have beers from all over the UK. And they go out and they do all the food preparation at the Celtic Festival in South Bend. Celtic games, Highland games stuff. And yeah, they make the best meat pie. Oh my God. Love it. Love it. I shouldn't bring you one of my homemade peach pies. Oh, you bring me all the peach pies you want to, and I will gladly share them with you as we sit there and make both of our blood sugars go up. I'll eat peach pie and nothing else. Not me. I don't like peach. Now Jay has to be back at work 7:50 in the morning. I just hope tomorrow's better for him. That's Yeah, that's bad. Pumpkin pie is a weakness. Pumpkin pie is a weakness for me too. Um, Lemon meringue. Oh my God, my mom used to make lemon meringue. She used to make chocolate meringue. She used to make coconut cream. And nothing beats mom's homemade meringue. Nothing made in a store anywhere. Um, oh yeah, pie of any kind. I get fresh peaches from the peach truck and baked pies. Oh God. Peaches never did much for me until a friend had a white peach tree. They are killers, so I grew 17 trees from seeds. There are pictures of the tornado on the news where I was at this afternoon and probably went through it. Wow. I've made my own meringue from scratch. It's the way Mom did it. She separated the egg whites from the yolks, just turned on the mixer and slowly poured the sugar in as she kept going around till that stuff just filled the bowl up. To make the whole pie from scratch. I'm still here. I saw Lisa Fry go live, so shared out for her. If anyone is live, send me a link, guys. Tag me in it, and I'll share. Gotcha, sis. Frozen pie crust ain't bad, so I don't do crust. Yeah, frozen pie crusts aren't that bad. As long as you remember, to cook them before you fill them and everything. So many people and I'll never understand this. They take a frozen pie crust, get it in the pan, and forget to stick it in the oven for, you know, 20, 25 minutes, and then you got a half-cooked pie crust underneath an excellent pie, and that just kind of. Good night, folks. Take care. Have a great weekend. You too, Tony. You take care of yourself, bud, and dig out tomorrow. Take care. Good night, Tony. Blessings from Scotland. You have to wait for pie crust. Bake. Yep, you do. Jay just showed me the footage from the news. He was very close. Wow. But all right, guys. It is that time. I ain't done yet. Just getting it in early. There you go. YouTube, that's terrible for notifications. Yeah, YouTube's very bad for it. Don't bake well. Stinks more. Yeah, it does. It kind of melts and gets all gooey and icky. But anyway, guys, it is that time. I am going to head out of here, go spend some time with the wife since she's off work tonight because of the storm. Um, can't wait to see what it looks like in the morning. So, but you guys, Monday night, we are at 850 now. We went up another 4 subscribers today. Last month, I don't know if you guys are familiar with vidIQ on YouTube. They help YouTubers to grow their channels, give them pointers on different methods to grow your channel, make your videos, your thumbnails, your intros, your outros, whatever the case may be. But I've got them downloaded on the computer. According to them, we broke our own personal record last month with 60 brand new subscribers. So here it is, the 3rd. We've gone up 6. So 2 a day. We'll see if we can break that 60 this month. Rob. Oh, wait. There's Mrs. Sister Donna Carter. Hello, dear. Hope you're doing. Or Cantor. Sorry, Carter. Cantor. Cantor. Rob, Mr. Mitch Canterman. Hope you're doing good, too. I'll grab tea, rewatch, brother. Can't wait to chat on Mystical 11 Night. Yep, here real soon. Another 11 days. We'll be together on there again. So, yeah, 1, 2, big old heart right there for Drew. 2, my little sis from the motherland. Hope you're doing good too, Rob. Hopefully the storm passes you guys by. I know it was smashing AAP earlier in Lansing. We got it probably about an hour before they did. It started snowing here, and by the time I joined their stream, it was bad. Becca was saying it was blizzard-like conditions. So hopefully we'll get AAP, Mr. and Mrs. AAP, and possibly some of the kids at Paw Paw this year for Ghostorama. If not Paw Paw, maybe Kalamazoo. We'll just have to wait and see. Pop in chat tomorrow. I've got Big Witch coming, and her chat will love your channel. Cool. We'll do it. We'll do it, honey. Sounds good. I will be there. What time? Sean and I are headed to Astronomicon tomorrow. Oh, you lucky devils. Danny was going to try to go to that, but he wasn't sure since he was just in the hospital again the other day. They thought he was having a stroke. It wound up being his blood pressure skyrocketing. Um, he had to stay overnight, came home the next day, and seems like he's doing well now. But he wasn't sure if he was going to make Astronomicon or not. So, doggone it. Go figure. I'm excited. I would be too. It sounds like a fun gig. I mean, if I had a way, I'd be going. So, if I had a way and the money, I'd be going. You know, us poor white boys got to sit at home and make videos while you working folk actually get to go out and have fun. Thank you, Drew. Thank you. I appreciate that. I light mine every night too. Burns in the bathroom all night long. So, of course, that's the only place that don't have carpet and won't burn down. So that's why I burn it in there all night long. I got to work on stuff. Yeah, I think this weekend I'm going to do a few changes back here. Maybe a little bit less edged weapons, a little bit more bang bang kind of weapons. So, all right, Rob, you and Sean have fun tomorrow at Astronomicon, and make video, lots of pictures. I look forward to it. Drew, I will definitely come into your chat tomorrow and visit with your guest. Everybody else, Jan, Tony, Jay, if you're still hiding around in here somewhere, Big Ben, Kyle, everybody else, have a great evening. If you're in the path of this storm, stay indoors, don't risk it. Stay nice and warm. Lots of vids may be alive. Well, I'll just be watching for that, sir. Have to finish up this team thing. All right, guys and gals. You take care too, Tony. You take care too. Like I said, anybody that's in the path of this storm, stay warm, stay dry, stay safe. And we will be back. Of course, there will be a video coming out on Sunday. The video coming out on Sunday will be the Banshee, Harbinger of Doom or Fortune. So be watching for that. And we will be back here again Monday morning, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hell or high water, unless we're frozen to death and snowed in, then I will post pictures of my wife's sickle and my daughter's sickle and my cat sickles before I freeze to death. So it's the least I can do. I'm here to entertain. So you guys all have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. I do. We'll catch you all later. Take care.